Hi. Thanks for clicking on my face. Tonight, we're going to be discussing The Penguin, episode 5. Now, a lot happened this episode, and we're going to talk about it. But first, let's get into a little bit of geek news. It's been a while since I think this is my first solo stream, so forgive me if things are a little clunky, but we're going to do our best. Let's get straight into the news. So it was recently announced that Lord of the Rings is coming out with a new movie, and it's a new live action, right? And it's going to be centered around Gollum, like his origin story, all of that. So if that's something that interests you, it's going to be out in 2026. And it's also going to be a single film. Previously, it was announced that it was going to be a two-parter, but that was kind of like scaled back. And so now it's just going to be a single film. So if you are into Lord of the Rings, don't forget to check that out when it is released. Also, speaking of movies, there is Avengers Doomsday is going to be filming next year. It's going to start in the spring of 2025 to premiere in 2026. So it's going to be that gap. But they also announced that when it starts to film, it's only going to be filming just Doomsday. Previously, when we had Infinity Wars and Endgame, they filmed it all at once. So that's why we were kind of, I think it released like 1 year after the other. But with Avengers Doomsday, it's only going to be they're only going to be filming this one, the first one. And I wonder, I don't know what you guys think about it, but I wonder if that is a sign of their confidence in the film. I'm not sure. But again, this is our first Russo brothers directed Avengers film since Endgame, I want to say. So, we'll see what happens there. But that's a little bit of the news that's going on. And let's get into the episode. So, episode opens up. We see Oz and Vic. They have set the Ozmobile aflame, the Penguin Mobile. And it was unexpected because Oz, like, really, if you've been watching the show, Oz loves that car. Like, that is his thing. This bright purple car, really flashy, Maserati. But he set it aflame because the block is hot, right? I'm not sure what he can do at this point. At the beginning of the episode, he knows that he has to remain low key. Our Is he our hero? Like, what would you consider Vic? I would assume he's the heart of the show, but he is more down for Oz than ever. Like, he is 100% Team Oz. He mentions that he wants more to do in relation to, all this bad guy stuff. So he's in it head first. We do meet a couple more of Oz's goons. These are the people that are in line with Oz. They are here whenever he needs him. The one in the center, I want to say his name was Mikey, and we'll talk a little bit more about him later in the episode. But Oz, he shares his plan that they are going after the Maroney's son, Tosh. He's on TikTok being a big mouth, just showing his location, everything else. So Oz and his goons, they roll up on him. And this is one of my favorite shots of the episode, because we get to see, if you look in the distance, you'll see Oz and his guys coming in there and like offing everyone. They're offing everyone in the tattoo parlor. And because Tosh, he has on his headphones, he can't see a dang thing. Like, he is just completely in his own world. But this was shot really well, and one of my favorite shots of the episode. So he eventually he gets a little blood splatter on him, and he runs off. Vic catches him, and they are able to kind of apprehend him. And it was after this that Oz goes to his parents, shows him the picture of him, and pretty much says, "Hey, I got your boy for ransom, right? And in order to get him back, you need to give me the mushrooms that I gave you for Bliss, or the mushrooms. Y'all know what I'm talking about." And I thought this was a genius plan on Oz's behalf, because for one, he was able to find this guy on TikTok. Now I looked up the name on TikTok. It was called something something on top. Hold on, let me Taj on top or something like that. View from the top, view from the Taj. That's what it's called. And I looked it up on TikTok, and there is a profile there, but it doesn't have like any videos. I was hoping that the show creators would have like the video up there for us. But as it stands now, it's a completely empty profile. But they come to an agreement. We got Nadia, his mom. She's going to meet with Oz, bring the supplies, and Oz is going to be bringing Taj. Now we get back to Sofia. Sofia is outside of the Falcone mansion. We got the police out there. We got first responders out there. We got the press out there. And she is actually kind of being almost interrogated by the chief of police. He shows up to this gas leak. And I'm like, when have you ever had the chief of police show up to anything, let alone a gas leak, right? Like, it sounds like really odd. But we discover through the conversations that he's just trying to ease information out of her, right? And she was able to kind of cunningly get him off the case in a way. So I love that about Sofia. She's so intelligent. She's a little crazy, but she's definitely intelligent. We also see that the niece from the previous episode, the only other survivor, I'm sorry, the third survivor, because we have Johnny, we have Sofia, and we have the young girl, and she's being carted off to what is shown as Brookside's Children's Home. Now, this doesn't seem to be the same orphanage that was talked about in the Batman. If you guys remember in the film, the Riddler was saying how horrible the orphanage was that he himself was a part of. So I don't believe it's any that orphanage or any like kind of orphanage like within Gotham. But we do see she's taken off to Brookside's Children's Home. Later, during the interrogation, it was mentioned about Johnny Vitti, because he was a survivor, but they haven't found his body. They're questioning Sofia about him. She gets them off the case, saying that he must have left the home, but lo and behold, he's in the cemetery. She's holding him hostage in the cemetery, guys. And it's crazy because this is probably so, like, it's not just cruel, right? It has to be some kind of like mental warfare, because you have him in a cemetery, for one, amongst all of these dead people. He's freezing. She pours water on him in order to get him to agree to show her where her father hides all of the money. And I'm just thinking, this is a horrible, horrible way. Like, I don't know what you guys would have done, but for me, I would have said, I would have snitched. I would have spilled the beans, because I'm not about to be in this like cemetery grave, freezing my, A off. I'm just gonna tell. And he did get the feeling like, oh, if I tell, you're just gonna kill me. And I'm like, I'd rather be dead than to be in the cemetery freezing my behind off. But I don't know what you guys think. But if you're watching, if you like the video, please like the video and drink a little bit of your drink as we get on to the next couple scenes. Now, we see that we're back to Oz and his crew. It looks like some of my pictures didn't upload here. But Oz and his crew, they are at our girl Eve's house. She is upset. She's like, why are you bringing, Taj and them boys around my house? As she should be. But Oz was able to convince her to kind of let Taj stay there for a little bit while they get their plan together, right? And it was decided that Vic, instead of going with the boys, right, the boys to take care of what's going on with the Maronis, Oz tells Vic, hey, I need you to go check on my mother, go stay with her, make sure she's safe. So he kind of sends him on this side task. And again, we kind of see that it's because Vic seems to be outside of Eve, Vic seems to be the only person that Oz kind of trusts in a way, because no one else really knows about his mother. And he seems to really have like this connection to Vic. So he has him find his mother, not find it, go to his mother's house and kind of take care of her. When Vic gets to the mom's house, she's a mess. She's a mess. She has food on the stove burning. The house looks a wreck. And he goes in her room and she's like having like this episode. I'm not sure what her diagnosis would be. I would assume it's dementia because when Vic comes to the door, she pulls out this baseball mitt and as if it was his, talking to him as if he was one of her sons. And he had to tell her like, I'm Vic. Oz sent me here to take care of you. And it was like a light bulb went off in her head that she suddenly was aware. She knew where she was in that moment. And not only was she like a little dazed before we see that she has bruises on her body, which is like, it seems like she mentioned that, oh, she fell or I don't know what's going on with her, but I would assume it's some sort of dementia situation. But when Oz and the boys, Oz and his goons, their plan was to go to the jail and stab up Saul. Now, you know, Saul is like the head of the Maronis. And I don't know what you guys think. I know in an earlier scene that the Penguin, he handed a couple dollars to a security guard and mentioned something about 11 o'clock, right? But if we look at the face in the mirror, right? Look at this face. Doesn't that face look like the face of the goon right here, this guy in the middle? And I know later in the episode he mentioned something about Mikey. So I don't think it's the security guard that actually went through with the stabbing here. I have a feeling that it is one of his goons, the guy in the middle. But you guys let me know what you think. So after the stabbing, right, we see that Oz himself, he is on a separate mission. He goes to meet Nadia. Again, Nadia is the mom, and has our boy Taj, our TikTok star, our TikTok creator, hostage. He brings him to this facility. They attempt to do the exchange, but we see that Nadia didn't come by herself. She brought back up, right? And as Oz was letting Taj go, a beret of like shots come from everywhere. They're coming from the ceiling. They're coming from the back. They're coming from everywhere. And like a gun battle breaks out. And Oz, he takes out of his pocket a lighter, and we see that he lights Taj and Nadia, just lights him up, right? Just burns him to a crisp. And it was kind of like insinuated that this was his plan all along. Like, had Nadia not have kind of double crossed him and brought like this back up to shoot him, he still would have set them both aflame, which is really shady. So we see that how shady Oz is. It's like, this is what I like about Oz, though. He's very, you never know which way he's going to go. Sometimes he's nice. Sometimes he's, setting you on fire, right? He's a wild card. But I wanted to know what you guys think about the supposed death. I'm going to say supposed, alleged, right, death of Nadia and Taj, because to me, we didn't see a body for real. And if you know about comics, right, if you don't see a body, it may not be the full death. And also, given that the fire alarm system went off so closely after the fire, it seems like they could have survived this. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I'm speculating, that they possibly survived. They will be heavily burnt, but I'm not sure if they are dead. I feel as if maybe one or possibly both may have survived this assassination attempt, I'll say. Looks like we got a comment here. Hi, thanks for being here. So let me know what you think. If you guys think they both survived, one of them survived, or they are both deceased. So after the fire alarm thing goes off, right? It sprays everything down. Unfortunately, our bliss mushrooms are also, coated in that chemical, and it leads to the complete like destruction of these mushrooms. Like there's nothing left. They're crumpling in his hands. All except two little buckets. Two little buckets survived, right? But it isn't it isn't everything that he wanted. He had a whole truck. Now he's down to two little buckets. So he's going to have to make some stuff shake. And it was because, during this scene, he gets a call from Sal. Sal didn't die. He survived the stabbing in jail. And he's pretty much telling Oz on the phone, count your days, you're going down in flames. And Oz was like, oh yeah, well, call Nadia's phone to see if she answers, pretty much letting him know that he, quote unquote, killed both of them. So now everybody's mad. Sal's mad. Mama's mad because she like, yo, what's going on? And that's what's happening. And Oz is mad because the mushroom supply is completely dwindled. But we get back to Sofia. Sofia's in her mom's closet. And there's a knock on the door. And none other than Dr. Rush appears. Now, he is so creepy to me. I don't know how you guys feel about him. Something about him is off. Like, I don't know what it is, but something about him is not right. I don't trust him. And there's been a lot of speculation online as to what his true identity is. Again, if you check out a couple different sources online, you'll see that people have been speculating that he is possibly this other character called Dr. Hugo Strange, but others have been speculating that he could potentially be the Scarecrow. And something about this stance is giving kind of Scarecrow to me. I don't know about y'all. This is the Scarecrow for reference. It's something about it. It's something's with this man, and I don't trust him. But he comes up to Sofia. And he's telling her, the cops came, they wanted a little tea on you. But of course, baby, I didn't rat you out. I didn't turn you in. And I want to be a part of whatever it is you got going on here. This guy is nuts. Again, he's a doctor. He treated Sofia all through her stint in Arkham. And he's just ready to risk it all to get into this life of crime with this woman who barely even wants him. Like, she is always like, she is always treating him like dirt, and he's there every time. I don't know how she does it. But now, after he gives this whole spiel about, oh, I want to be, your king consort in a way, right? He wants to be the king consort to Sofia's kingdom. Sofia goes out with, all of her ornaments. She has on her mother's coats. She is looking like a boss. She goes into this meeting with a whole bunch of other members of the Falcone mafia, right? And first of all, our boy Johnny, you see him right there at the table. He survived. He decided to, align himself with Sofia in order to survive. And this is again following they had a heart-to-heart previously about how her mother is his cousin, right? And he not only set her mother up with Carmine, he attempted to help her escape when she tried to leave Carmine, right? So they kind of were able to grieve that loss of her mother and his cousin together. And I feel like that's what kind of sealed the deal on this agreement of him being kind of under her in this scene. Now, Sofia, she's telling him, she lays it all on the table. She said, hey, the family didn't just die. I killed the family. She was behind everything, right? And I don't know if this was the best idea, but I guess I'm assuming that she didn't want it to come out later. So, and she wanted to control the narrative, I'm assuming. So she went ahead and let everyone know. She also said that, hey, my dad treated you guys like poo. He treated y'all like the worst of the worst. He didn't give you what you were deserving. And pretty much like, if you were to come with me, I will treat you better than he ever did. And she also, in this scene, she also decides that she's no longer, and this family is no longer going to be known as the Falcones. they are going to be known by her mother's last name, which is Gigante. So she is now Sofia Gigante, and this is the Gigante family. They all agreed. They took the money that she spewed out on the table, and they were like, "All right, let's go. Right? It's time. It's time to get down." So after they all agreed to like be a part of this new family that she has going on, no longer the Falcones, they're the Gigantes. We get back to Vic. Vic got Mama in the car, in the hood. He took her to where he's from, and essentially where she's from. We learned in the earlier episodes, but it's rough out there. It's looking a mess. It's like Gotham didn't even attempt to clean up after the events of the Batman. It still looks a wreck out there. All of these weeks later. But it was during this scene that we see that Squid is still in the hood. Squid is still there. And Vic, for whatever reason, is so scared to be seen by Squid. And I'm not sure why this is, guys. You let me know what you think, why you believe he's so afraid to be seen by Squid. Because when we learned of Squid in episode 3, I think it was, he was the cousin of one of his friends. He's always been like a little bit, in the gangster life, if you will. He's always kind of like, selling drop. And though he didn't seem to like Squid, he didn't seem as if he was afraid of Squid, right? But in this episode, he seems afraid of him, so much so that Mama Oz, she was like, "You about to crap your pants. What did this man do to you? Like, what's going on?" We don't really learn why this dynamic exists between Vic and Squid. So I'm hoping that we get like a little more backstory about that in the next episode. But he is like completely trying to avoid Squid. He takes Mama up into this apartment, and that's where they hide out. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when Oz told Vic, "Hey, take my mom and go elsewhere," right? "Don't tell me where you're going. Just take her elsewhere. I need her to be hidden," right? I thought he was going to California. I thought he was about to meet his little girlfriend up in California now that he has like the permission, and I'm assuming the funds via the getaway bag that Oz told him to get from his mom's house. I thought he was going to Cali to meet up with the girl and bring the mom along, but he did not. He took her to the hood in Gotham. So that's that. So Oz, he's trying to get everything together. He knows that the Maronis, they're after him. He knows that Sofia's coming after him. So he has to get, the hell out of Dodge, right? But before he does, he's like, "Let me go get my little boo thing, Eve." But Eve is not with it. She's like, "Sir, I'm here for the income, not the outcome, right? I'm not here. I'm not really here to support you." But she said it in such a way that, Oz was able to calm down because he got upset. He was accusing her of left, right, and center. And at the end of the day, she's a woman of the night. Like, she's not going to do anything that doesn't kind of uh work out for her. Like, it seems like they did have an alliance or something like that, had understanding, like they would be there for each other. And I think she mentions that in the scene. But it's getting to the point that it's becoming too dangerous for her. And she no longer wants to continue that until he's, got everything situated. And honestly, I don't blame her. But at the same time, I do feel concerned for her safety. I'm not sure if Eve is going to make it to episode 7. I feel like in episode 6, something may happen to Eve. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but that's how I feel about it. And yeah, it seems as if that might be the case. I don't know what you guys think. But also, we get to the point where Oz comes and he meets up with the family, Vic and his mom in the hood, right? He meets up and he's hugging on mom, trying to convince her that, he has everything under control. And mom, she's like, "Oh, well, what kind of man can't take care of his mother and all of this?" And it makes me wonder what is going on with mom. Like, is she's like what is going on with her? Why is she so hungry for power? And why is she so anti-Oz, right? And we see in the earlier in the episode that when she's having this dementia episode, she's having visions of her other son, right? I think later he mentions that it's Zach or something like that, not Oz. she brings stuff from the apartment that belongs to the other son, not Oz. So I don't know if there's something there. I guess that's something with their dynamic where Oz is always trying to, in a way, prove himself to his mother. Maybe he felt like unloved by her or unchosen, but it's definitely a weird dynamic between the two of them. But I'd love to know, again, what you guys think about that. But it's very weird. But when we get to the living room, Oz pulls out the glove. This is the glove that belongs to his brother that the mother brought along. I'm like, why would you bring this glove? Out of all the things you could have brought, you brought a baseball glove. And Vic in this scene, he's asking Oz, hey, what happened to your brothers? Like, we know that they passed away. And Oz says in this scene, Gotham took them, right? Gotham took his brothers. And to me, I'm not sure if it's Gotham so much as it is something about it. The way he said it, the way he looked after he said it, made me believe that he had something to do with his brothers, one or both of them, their end. I don't know what you guys think, but that's what I think. It feels very, very suspicious. And we know that he's quick to the trigger, right? If anyone talks bad about him, anyone makes him feel a kind of way, he's going to pull the trigger, right? And I feel as if maybe if he was bullied or something by his brothers, that he may have gone down that route. But that's just my theory, guys. I don't know what you guys think about it. Let me know. But yeah, something about it, the way he said it, made me feel like he definitely had something to do with the demise of his two brothers. But after this scene, we see that he starts fumbling around in more of his mother's things, right? And she has this coin jar, right? Everyone has a coin jar back in the day, right? And he pulls out the content of the coin jar, and he sees this kind of ticket, this coin, this golden coin for the Gotham City trolleys. Now, that kind of got his brain to spinning, got the wheels churning or whatever. And him and Vic go into the Gotham streets in the middle of the night to go and like open up this trolley, this tunnel trolley, this underground trolley railway. And apparently it goes all through the city. And it's abandoned and forgotten. He said it was abandoned pretty much since he'd been a kid. A lot of the money that was supposed to go to it was kind of embezzled by the government. We all know Gotham is corrupt. And they decide to set up base here. This is going to be the Gotham Penguin mob base. And I actually kind of love it. I don't know what you guys think about it. But from what I can remember of the Penguin in the comics, right, or in the cartoons, he was always underground, always kind of, in the sewers of things, right? So I love that they kind of brought that here into the show. But yeah, that was pretty much the episode, guys. Let me know what you think about it. A couple things that I wanted to see, let me know in the comments that if you believe that Taj and his mother are actually dead, or if you believe that's some sort of misdirect. Also, if you believe that Dr. Rush could possibly be the Scarecrow, let me know. And join me next time for another after show of The Penguin. It's going to be on Mondays, most likely around 7 o'clock. And we're going to talk about the full episode. So if you like the video, please like the video and join me for that. Also tomorrow night, me and my friends, we're going to be discussing Superman and Lois. So join me tomorrow night for that, also around 7 o'clock. And check out Slice of Horror, because I'll be going on their channel as well to discuss The Penguin. So thanks again for being here. And again, last thing, if you guys are just joining into the video, just wanted to recap the news from earlier, the geek news. So we have Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum coming out. And this film will be split into two. It's going to be premiering on the 2026. And it's also going to no longer be a singular film. It's going to be split into two parts. Secondly, we have Avengers Doomsday, and it's set to begin filming in the spring of 2025. So can't wait to check that out. But again, thanks for being here. Goodbye. See you later.